You see, willpower is like a muscle. And this has even been shown by scientific research where they've done studies on people and tested them on willpower and put them in all kinds of situations and observed them. And science has determined that willpower is like a muscle. So just like our muscles, if we strengthen our muscles, if we exercise them, if we use them, they get stronger. If we don't use our muscles, they get weaker, right? Now, after we just finished using our muscles really hard, in the short term, we're weaker. But tomorrow, we're stronger. And your willpower is the same way, it turns out. Okay, so let's say, I go into the gym and I do a bunch of bench press. Well, then, later that day, my chest muscles are going to be weaker because I've already used it all up in the gym. But tomorrow, it's going to be strong. And in the long run, even though I'm getting or weaker in the short term, it's getting stronger in the long run. That's how working out works. Right? If I go out and run 20 miles, I'm going to be pretty tired. I'm going to be weaker in the short term. I'm going to be exhausted, right? I don't want to run anywhere. But in the long run, I'm a better runner. I'm stronger. I've built endurance. I've built muscle. Well, that's how your willpower works too, believe it or not. So therefore, if I exercise my willpower by saying no to sin, no to the easy way, no to that which is wrong, I'm building character. I'm strengthening my willpower muscles so that tomorrow and a week later and 2 weeks later and a month later, I'm going to have more willpower than I did at this time. Now, the opposite is true. If I give in to temptation, I'm just going to give in even easier next time. I'm just getting weaker and weaker and weaker because I'm not building willpower. But in the short term, if I exercise a whole bunch of willpower, my willpower is going to be drained for that day. This has actually been scientifically shown, believe it or not. But it makes sense, right, if you think of it as like a muscle. So what's the moral of that story? That means when you need to be careful is at night. You know when you're most likely to give in to temptations of the flesh and sin? When's it going to be? 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. Why? Because you've already used up your willpower for the day, and you start giving in to things. And that's why most bad things happen when? At night. So here's the moral of the story. Go to bed early and get up early. Okay, number one. Number two, go through life building your willpower muscles so that even at night they're still strong enough to where you can keep doing the right thing. And number three, don't put yourself in situations at night where willpower is needed. Think about that. Why? Because at the end of the day, it's not going to be there. Look, this is why a lot of people, they get up in the morning, they exercise. Why? That's when willpower is fresh. You get at night and it's like, forget it, blow it off, right? That's why people who fast, a lot of people, they say, I'm going to fast by skipping dinner. That's a bad strategy because willpower is low at night. Remember my story about last night? Willpower was low. That's why I took 2 pieces of cake and a banana. But, willpower was low. If you're going to fast in the morning when willpower is strong. Fast throughout the early part of the day. Eat when the sun goes down, as it talks about in the Bible. When people would fast, they'd fast like all day and then eat when the sun goes down. Why? Because it's a lot easier to skip breakfast than it is to skip dinner. It's a lot easier to say no to temptation and no to sin and no to fornication, no to alcohol, in the morning than it is at night. So don't go to the bar at night. Don't go to the casino at night. Don't go to the dance club at night. Don't go out partying at night. Why? Because you're more likely to go into sin at night. You're much less likely in the morning, in the daytime, to give in to sin and temptation. Look, you don't want to get drunk. You don't want to smoke that cigarette. You don't want to take drugs. You don't want to commit fornication. You don't want to commit adultery. You don't want to steal. Look, those things are going to happen more likely at night. Let's put off the works of darkness. Let's put on the armor of light. Amen. You say, I'm going to read my Bible every night before bed. You know what? That's great if you actually get it done. But I bet your willpower to read it's going to be stronger in the morning than it is at night. Yeah. And every day you get up and you read your Bible every morning when you feel like doing something else, you know what you're building? You're building that willpower muscle. by doing the hard thing. You're building character. And then in the future, going forward, you're a stronger person. I mean, nobody wants to be a person with no willpower.
Right.
But our society and our lifestyle is turning us into people with no willpower. It's turning us into people who just gratify the flesh. If it feels good, do it. It's turning us into people who we just give in to sin, and it's because of the fact that we don't do the hard things. Doing the hard thing builds character.